welcome at Twende Shule, the project that offer an online teaching in various subjects. So we are going to discuss a history subject, third topic in Form 4, about changes in political, social, and economic policies in Africa after independence. In the previous lesson, we discussed about neo-colonialism and its forms, whereby we said neo-colonialism is the indirect control of the African state by their former colonial masters, whereby the Africa has been dominated in all walks of life, politically, socially, and economically. Then we saw the forms of neo-colonialism on economic sector, or economic form, political form, ideological form, and the military form. Whereby in all these spheres of life, Africa has been dominated by their former colonial masters, or by Western or Eastern civilization. So it's not necessary to be your former colonial masters to dominate you indirectly. USA had no colonies, but now is dominating the Africans. As we have seen on the side of military, USA have almost 234 military bases in 44 African states. So only 10 African countries have no US military base. We have seen how the European, the American, and Chinese have been dominating the African market, how they have been dominating the African production system, how they have been dominating the African education system, how they have been dominating everything. So now here, we are going to see how the African may disengage from neo-colonialism. How the African states can get rid from neo-colonialism. And I believe I'm not a Jewish prophet nor related to one, but I believe that if we are going to abide to this principle and the suggestion, we are going to get rid from neo-colonialism. If we are able to get rid from colonial administration, if we are able to get rid from colonialism, so we are able also to get rid from neo-colonialism. So if we refer to the approach we used to struggle for our independence, we may formulate another strategies on how to get rid from neo-colonialism. We may find the way out on how this European nation will never dominate us, either directly or indirectly. And the following are suggestions on how Africa can disengage from colonialism. First is by establishing sustainable and self-reliant economies. So we as Africa, first we need to establish a sustainable economy. And the sustainable economy goes hands with the protection of our resources. Because if our resources we have is not sustainable, don't expect it to have sustainable economy. If the resources which is the source of income for a nation is not sustainable, is temporal, we'll never have sustainable economy. If the source of African development is minerals, we must protect our minerals. If land is our resources, we must protect our land not to be taken by anyone. Like today we are saying Tanzania, almost 70% of Tanzania population has been employed in agriculture. What are the measures we are taking to protect our land for future? We are using artificial fertilizers. We are destroying the fertility of our land. So how the 10 coming years Tanzania will survive in agriculture? If Congo, they are bragging themselves that their economy depends on mining sector. So how are they protecting their minerals? If their mining center has been dominated by European and those minerals are being exploited by those European, how about 50 years to come? will Congo still have the same mineral they have today? And how they are going to survive? So first we must establish a sustainable economy and self-reliant economy. Because if we establish self-sufficient economy which will not be sustainable, we are doing nothing. Maybe today we establish a self-sustaining economy, a self-reliant economy for 5 years. Then after 5 years, our economy not be sustainable to progress. So we come back to the same neo-colonialism. So if in Congo they depend on mineral, they have to assess how that mines can be used for 100 years to come. If we people in Tanzania, we depend on agriculture, we must assess how our land will be sustainable to grow cash crops or food crops for 100 years to come. But we are using artificial fertilizer. We are destroying our land. So maybe after 10 coming years, Tanzania will no longer be a producer of raw material. Tanzania will no longer be a producer of food crops. Like today at Isimani, the area that was known for the production of maize, when you visit there today, there is no maize production because the land has been exhausted due to the application of artificial fertilizer. So we can say our economy is not sustainable because we are not thinking about it tomorrow. We are thinking about it today. So we as Africa, we must establish a sustainable economy, which will be a self-reliant economy. By doing so, we'll be able to disengage from depending on European. We'll be able to disengage from exporting food and manufactured goods from Europe. Then we will be able to get rid from neo-colonialism. Another method is by developing local science and technology. How are we promoting our local scientists? How are we promoting our local technology? Few days ago, I saw to the mass media, to the social media, that Nyagawa has developed a public bus, and the project is supported by NIT. Then I said, this is good. But the problem is how we are going to develop that project. Sometime it happened in Njombe, one was producing hydroelectric power. But TANESCO had to subordinate the project. You need to have a license, you are not a professional. Why don't we assist that man to develop the technology? So we are always killing our local scientists. We are always subordinating our local technologists because we know that we may import technology from outside. So until we realize our potential, that we as Africa, we can develop our own technology, we can develop our own things, then to promote and support those people who are engaging in innovation and invention is where Africa will disengage from depending on technology from outside or from abroad, where now we can disengage from neo-colonialism. Another method is by encouraging and strengthening local, regional integration.